Welcome everyone to my channel. This is Lady G at Great Basin Alchemy, and as you might be able to tell, I am not feeling very well. Got a bit of a cold, and I had no intention of doing a reading for the new year, particularly once I started getting sick, because somehow it just doesn't feel like the energy comes through quite as clearly when I'm not feeling well. So I try to avoid doing readings when I'm feeling the way that I am. However, everyone is out of the house, of the rest of the family, and I was resting and doing some self-care, and I felt very strongly, I wouldn't say guided, I was strongly asked and encouraged to make a video, and I was like, well, I'm not feeling well. And they said, don't worry about it, we'll come through anyway. And I said, but I don't know where they are, what they're doing, if they'll be back, if I have time. And just then the phone rang, and it was the family letting me know what they were doing and that I have ample time to make a reading. And as soon as I hung up, I was asked again, please do a reading for the new year. So, my apologies if I have to sniffle, wipe my nose with my Kleenex. I have my tea with me, and I'm going to keep this as simple and as short as possible. The 40-minute video from the last reading I did took over 30 hours to upload. It was a ridiculous thing. And so I have to keep my readings short or divide up the videos to no longer than 30-minute segments. I don't know if it's something to do with YouTube. I don't know if it's my upload rate. I don't know if it's my internet service. It's something that I will be looking into more in the future. But for now, that's the way it is. And I have satellite internet because where I live out in the Great Basin Desert, there really isn't a whole lot out here. The closest gas station is 8 miles away. There's a little kiosk kind of grocery store, and that's it. There's nothing else out here. So I really am in the wilderness, and I have to make do with what I have. So with that, I've set up the grids for this particular reading, and this deck is going to represent the theme for each quarter. So there's going to be a group of 3 cards, January, February, March, and then the theme for those 3 months, and then on through the year. This is going to represent what's happening up high, while this represents what's happening here below. So looking at the premise, what we see in Plato when he talks about as above, so below, the below being the shadow of what's above. So that's what we're going to do for the upcoming year. I don't really see January 1st as being the true new year of the year. I see the first new moon as being after Yule ends, which is tonight. This is why I have this here. Tonight is the last night of Yule. So the first new moon after that, I see that as the beginning of the new year, going into February 1st, being the first day of spring. But for ease sake, I think we're just going to stay with the calendar months in this particular reading, and I'll do more into the energetic new year in the new moon reading later on in January. So, okay, let's begin then. We're going to start. Oh, I have my dragon's blood incense going. It's my favorite one. Hoping to help set up a clear connection, coherent connection to see what comes through. So with that, I'm going to set these aside, and we'll just dive into the reading. Okay, so the theme for the first 3 months of 2020. Now, 2020, numerologically, we're looking at duality, but we're also looking at the master number of 22. And a lot of different people have said, talk about what 22 represents. And I'm feeling that there's some information around that number that's wanting to come in. So I'm not gonna speak on what that is at this point. Hopefully it'll come through at some point during the reading. Okay, so the theme for the first 3 months is emergence. And dragonflies are similar to butterflies and moths in the cocoon aspect of it, from caterpillar to cocoon to dragonfly. So we're talking about emergence. Now, interesting, I'm being shown the connection between dragon and my dragon incense. So when I asked what incense to use, and they pointed me to the dragon's blood incense, they talked about holding on to what you value, and letting everything else go. And that's not just abundance in a monetary sense. That's your values, your integrity, your reputation, your resources. And resources has to do with time. It has to do with opportunity. It has to do with having enough. It doesn't mean having $1 billion. It means having enough and never having to worry about something because you trust that you will always have enough. So interesting then that we're talking about emergence into that mindset. So let's see what the 3 months have to say. So January, you know what, I'm just going to keep these decks here. It's going to be easier. Okay, so for January, what's happening above? My nail polish is sticking to the cards. I chose green for renewal, new start, birth beginnings. January. Okay, protection. So the angel of protection, all is well. I surround myself with trustworthy people. Okay, talking about holding on to the things that you value. Black tourmaline. And what's happening down below? Okay, so that's up above. So increased protection. Now, there is a lot of help outside of what we can see at the moment, and it's not going to remain outside of our visual field for too much longer. And just be willing and open to perceiving outside help from other dimensions, other planets that are currently surrounding the planet and assisting us. And so if you need help with protection, ask the outside help, ask the intergalactic and interplanetary assistance that surrounds us outside of our visual field. Ask them to step in and provide more protection. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of beings willing to assist us through this transition time, and they are wanting jobs. So feel free to utilize them in asking for help in whatever it is that you need. And that's what I'm being guided to mention to you for protection. So holiday. The answer you're looking for can be found during a vacation, retreat, or holiday getaway. Now, this card also is talking about rest and rejuvenation. So winter is a time for rest It's a time for going within and connecting in more deeply, and anchoring in new insights and healings so that you are prepared as you move through the rest of the calendar year. Now, for those in the Southern Hemisphere, what this is referring to for you is to take some time for yourself. You're going to be, you just had your summer solstice, and which is when the greatest amount of light is shining on the planet in the Southern Hemisphere. And it's very easy to burn out during that time, because summer is the time when you want to go out. It's very masculine. You want to go out and be social and interact with other people. And you're being asked to take some time regularly for yourself, or take a significant amount of time, such as a holiday, for yourself. Take a retreat. Go to a monastery for a week. I had a friend who once did a silent retreat at a monastery, and she's a very talkative person, and I was talking with her before she went, and I was asking her, are you really sure you want to do a silent retreat? And she said, I know, I'm really not suited for that, but I really want to challenge myself. So consider something like that, to go more deeply and connect more deeply in with yourself, so that you can facilitate this emergence. Okay, let's go on to February. Let's see what we have for February up high. Now, again, this is, once you leave the third dimension and this planet of duality, time does not exist in the same way. So take this up above for the month of February, for all of these months, with a little bit of grain of salt, in recognizing that what this is really showing us is what will be available to us as a result of what's going on in this dimension down here. So, angel of purification, blessings flow through me like a healing river. I am fluid, I am clean and clear. I take the time I need to relax in a pool or bath, and I drink the right amount of water to maintain a healthy body. And we're looking at the stone howlite. Okay, so February, which to me is more like the beginning of the new year, after you do this part, the protection, the going within, the protection so that you can go within and you can do some healing and purging, and you see what needs to be addressed, then you're going to go through a purification process. Not sure what this means. It's okay, so they're talking water, not fire. Emotional purification, so emotional cleansing. So that's interesting, because February we're looking at Aquarius, which is the water bearer, which I always found was fascinating, that Aquarius was an air sign and not a water sign. And it's always been a little confusing to me why Aquarius, an air sign, is carrying water. And perhaps it has to do with boundaries of emotions, which are carrying your emotions, and you choose when to reveal them. But this is talking about using that time to purify your body through your tears. Okay, so let's see what is then going to be happening in February in this dimension. February 2020. Well, okay, I guess that's our answer. So this reading is not going to apply to everyone. This reading is going to apply to those who are here to elevate the consciousness of the planet. And that isn't everyone. Most people are still confused as to what the heck is going on the planet right now. What is up, is down, and topsy-turvy and not at all predictable. So if you're one of those people whose purpose for being on this planet is to help to elevate the consciousness of the planet through this transition, this reading is for you. Okay. Perfect timing. So let's talking about holding your emotions in check. That doesn't mean stifling them. It doesn't mean ignoring them. It means controlling them and choosing the right time to express them. And let your heart lead from a place of compassion, so that you can speak passionately, but also in a balanced way, so that you don't let the lower emotions hijack your thinking. The message of Aquarius. Put boundaries on your emotions. And maybe this is going to help facilitate this. You might need to not engage with as many people as you normally would, so that you can take the time to go within and have a quiet space in your bathroom, in your bedroom, in the shower, or some place where it is private and safe for you to express your emotions and get them out, so that when you go out into the public, you're not on the edge of exploding in anger or frustration or indignation or rage, and allow the tears to be your release in the perfect time, so that you can portray a sense of balance to the people who need that, because your job, remember, is to elevate the consciousness of the planet. That doesn't mean you're not going to have a hard time. We're all having a hard time. But you have more tools available to you. You've been through this before. You are able to find balance more quickly, and you are able to see more easily and with clarity. You're the adult. And it doesn't matter how old you are in your body, you are the adult. So it's important for you to do what adults do, or what adults, as defined by being an adult, do, is they don't let their emotional upset interfere with the other things that they do. They address them appropriately in the right time for themselves, so that it doesn't spill out into other relationships, other people, other situations, and especially not into children when you're dealing with children. Okay, February. Let's look at March. March 2020. Okay, here we go. Angel of Truth and Honesty. Now, it's important to keep in mind that if you lie to yourself, if you are not honest in the things that you say and do towards yourself, you are not going to be able to be honest or truthful to anyone else around you. So it's important to begin by asking, where am I ready to increase truth and honesty within myself, so that I can truthfully and honestly communicate and interact with others. Because integrity is going to be a key part in what we do as light workers in elevating the consciousness of the planet. And as we hold that integrity within our energetic fields, it will positively, empathically impact those around us. So always begin within, because one of the spiritual principles is, as within, so without. Whatever is going on in your internal reality is reflected back to you in your external reality. So always first check there. Okay. Amazonite is the stone for this, and it's asking for an increasing courage. So I'm going to ask my body, Deva, and my higher self to do the protocol to increase courage, to increase our, in order to increase truth and honesty, both within ourselves and in our outer worlds. That's up high. Okay. Then in March 2020, what are we doing? A new home. Oh, okay. New home. What is this meaning? Moving is a step in the right direction for you. Okay. Some people will be moving into a new physical space. Now this could be all sorts of different things. The key to remember is movement. Moving into something new. Whether that's a new physical home, maybe it's a new physical office, maybe you're moving into a business partnership, or the energy around connections for you, networking, is shifting and changing in some way. It's also talking about moving into a new area of space, and how the energy into this new area of space, and I've talked about this before in some of my previous readings, we've never been in before, and there's going to be something energetically that impacts all of us as a result of being in a new area of space in the month of March. But it is also going to impact some people as far as physically, where you are, where you're living, where you're working. Maybe, I was thinking maybe a new car. Just whatever it is that represents home for you, that's changing in March. All to facilitate this message of emergence, that we are coming into something new. And this is the preparation for this.